everybody. Welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio, the fourth and final segment. Thank you for sticking with us today. You're listening on Kello News Talk or KWSN in South Dakota, or the Mighty 790 in Fargo, Moorhead, and surrounding areas. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agri, Brewer Agri Outdoors. We're going to chat with Hunter Kisner, Dirty Bird Outfitters. Last time we caught up with Hunter was early summer. He was out chasing walleyes. Now we're going to catch up to him out chasing some geese. How you doing, Hunter?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, looking forward to the goose season here. Should be a good one. So
yeah, so it's amazing how we were just talking walleyes and talking muskies and all kinds of stuff, and we're going to continue to do so. But now we get to throw geese into the mix, and pretty soon it's going to be bears into the mix and deer and all this other stuff. I mean,
the dominoes are falling.
Yeah, they certainly are. So there's this early season goose. Why is this so popular with game and fish people? Why do we have this season?
So yeah, in North Dakota especially, we have a lot of small grain and a lot of, that prairie pothole region. So there's a lot of local Canada geese that are born and raised here, and they actually can be pretty detrimental to especially soybeans early in the year. And there's certain areas that, you'll have 200-300 of them they can really, really do some crop damage. So the game and fish, they have this early season with high limits, 15 bird limit. Just to try to get rid of some of these nuisance geese. They can be really, really successful to hunt. They can also be very, very tough to hunt at the same time too. But it's kind of a good kickstart to the season. Kind of shake the rust off. Maybe practice shooting a little bit. Kind of get you ready for the regular season.
Yeah, it seems like for the hunters, this is kind of a win-win because you can get out. You can maybe throw some birds in the freezer. There's a bunch of different advantages to getting out early.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the weather's typically nice. You're not dealing with a foot of snow. And again, for a lot of guys, it just helps kind of get you them first few reps of the season. Or if you have a young dog, like me, I have a 2-year-old yellow lab, so it's great for her. Kind of before the chaos of the regular season, get out there and get the dog some reps, or just work out all the kinks that you have, whether it's inside your trailer, making sure you have all the right gear. Just like I said, getting back into the groove of things a little bit.
Yeah, knocking the rust off, right? And just getting in the swing. What are some tips, Hunter, if folks are, they're eager to get out, and the season's open right now, at least in North Dakota, it's open. And what are some tips in terms of approaching the early season that you might give to folks? Just, things that maybe we haven't thought of because we've been out of the game here for a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, early in the year, I would say definitely plan on driving, doing a lot of scouting, especially depending on the weather. But, the geese this time of year, they're primarily in wheat, barley, and oats. Those are kind of the main three. And not all landowners or farmers have gotten out into the field to start harvest. So if you get to an area and there is some crop off, kind of hang in that area, because usually it's kind of each area, it depends on the weather. But if there is some crop off, that's kind of a good area to start. Another thing is just go and knock on a lot of doors. That's going to be a big one. Some people are going to say no to letting you access their land, and that's part of it. But just don't let that discourage you, and just keep on. I mean, there's some days you get 4 or 5 no's, and then somebody will let you on, and they're super thankful. And I always like to just stop by, even after the hunt, if it's even if it was unsuccessful, just to stop by and say thank you, and be gracious for them letting you access their property, because that's getting to be more and more of a big deal. So
that's a really, really good tip, Hunter. So when we talk resident geese, how big of an area does a resident goose cover? I mean, does it cover a square mile? Does it cover 10 square miles? Kind of where I'm going with this is if there's a crop off that's holding some geese, if you go out there and have a good hunt, can you go back the next day? Are there other geese that are going to be filling in there, or did you just take care of all the residents?
Yeah, so Yeah. So typically I would say if this time of year, it's going to be a lot of fields with anywhere from maybe 60 to 150 geese is kind of what you can typically plan on seeing. You may find more, but I would say 60 to 150 is about what you're going to see. And usually what I've found is once you go out and hunt them one time, it kind of tends to like break up that group of geese, because it's usually what it is anywhere from 8 to maybe 12 or 15 family groups that have all concentrated in one spot. And then once you go out there and hunt them, it kind of breaks up the family groups. But also what happens is when you break up those family groups, those geese, they go and they start to intermingle with other geese that weren't in their family groups. Once you start hunting them, there's other people hunting as well. It kind of pushes them around and bunches them up. So I typically see that first 2.5 weeks of the season, it's a lot smaller groups of geese in general feeding together. And then as the season progresses and we get, into September and October, the feeds tend to get larger and larger just because they're getting bumped around and pushed around, and they're finding other geese to concentrate with. That's
perfect. All right. So we got maybe about a minute left, Hunter. You got any really good tips? Something that if I'm taking maybe my son out or the neighbor's kid or something, and I really, really want to get them on a bird. If I want to get some young kid out there, how do I do that to make sure that they're successful?
Yeah, that's actually like one of my favorite parts about the early season is that it doesn't take a ton of gear. Like I would say most time, I see lots of guys, they really overdo it with the decoys and the calling and everything. You can have really, really good success over 24 full body decoys and a very simple setup. You don't need to get out there super, super early and set out 300 full body decoys. It can be very simple. And I actually find this time of year, less calling is almost more because they're not super like territorial or aggressive yet. So just kind of, lay there, maybe a simple cluck or a moan on the goose call and hit them with a flag, when they're a quarter mile out or a few hundred yards out, and just kind of keep them coming to you. And like I said, they're not super aggressive and they kind of like to be in their family group. So just space out 2-3 dozen full body decoys and just keep it simple. And again, that's one of my favorite parts, and it's really easy to get the kids involved or a neighbor kid involved doing that. You can tell them, hey, take these 2-3 decoys, go set them out 10-15 yards that way, and it's really enjoyable.
That's awesome. Great advice. This is Hunter Kisner, Dirty Bird Outfitters. Hunter, if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to talk fishing, if they want to talk hunting, how can they reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you can get a hold of me just on my Facebook. And then Matt Peel, who you've also had on the show, he actually owns Dirty Bird Outfitters, who I work for. So, yeah, get a hold of me, get a hold of Matt. Look me up on Facebook. Keep in touch on Instagram or Facebook at Dirty Bird Outfitters. And, I'm always down to talk hunting or fishing. So
perfect. Have yourself a great fall, Hunter. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Special thanks to our Gone Outdoors show sponsors: Ray Sport Marine, Adventure RV, Lakeland General Store, Devil's Lake Tourism, Linex of Fargo, and Onyx Fish Midwest. Cast beyond the familiar. Thank you for tuning in to today's Gone Outdoors. Follow along when you're on the water or in the field with Gone Outdoor Podcast. KFGO.com, KWSN.com, KELO.com, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. Visit us at BreweryAgriOutdoors.com and follow us on social media. Until next week, from Scotty and Kyle, we'll be Gone Outdoors. Looking for somewhere to get all your fishing information in one place? Onyx Fish Midwest has something for you. Search for new fishing areas with filtering features such as species, abundance, trophy potential, lake survey info, regulations, and area insights are just a click away.
Getting to your target lake has never been easier with access points and public land ownership clearly marked on Onyx Fish. Mark and customize waypoints and weather for your exact location. Use code BA Outdoors to get 20% off Onyx Fish Midwest at onyxmaps.com.